Morning, Randy. It's a
How you
pleasure.
doing? Did you say good morning?
The time difference here, it's about 10:30 in the morning over here.
Well, it's 6 or 7 at night here, or something like that. So good morning to you.
Holy shit. How's life with Lamb of God been treating you these days?
That's good, man. I got a little time off after the Slayer tour. And I've just been doing a lot of press, with the release of Sacrament happening last week.
Yeah.
But it's pretty mellow, you know? Just kicking back and getting ready to head out on this Megadeth tour.
Awesome. Now, as you mentioned, just in the past couple of days, New Zealand has in fact been hit by your new album. With this new offering from you guys, what do you think as a vocalist and songwriter, you've progressed since your previous album, Ashes of the Wake?
Can you hold 1 second? Just 1 second, sorry.
Yep, sure.
Hold on. Hello?
Hello.
Sorry about that, man. It was my wife bothering me about the toilet. Jesus Christ. It's a much richer sonically record, I guess.
Yeah.
It seems to be a lot thicker in the sound, you know?
Yeah.
A lot broader. Lyrically, we stepped away from so much political material on this record and wrote more about personal stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, I understand watching the DVD and stuff that Machine pushed you guys, especially you, quite hard with running around the block and you vomiting all the time. Were there any rewarding aspects during the recording process of Sacrament?
Yes, it being over.
Awesome.
Yes, that was a good reward. I was ready, glad to go home.
Awesome. So you sort of like the final product, very sort of happy with the final product these days, with this one?
Yeah, you know, I really am. I don't really listen to our music. I've only listened to it like once or twice.
Right.
Because I play it all the time live. And, you know, I don't really bother to listen to it. But, yeah, I think it's a good record. I'm pleased with it.
Awesome. Now, a lot of all the other members of Lamb of God are incredibly skilled, professional and focused with their instruments. But it seems in the past that you followed a different path down the middle lifestyle, as it were, but still managed to maintain an unrivaled sort of vocal ability. Is vocal something you work on, or is it more of a natural talent?
It's, you know, I've worked on some on expanding my range, certainly, over the years. I have a vocal coach who helped me with some exercises and stuff so I don't lose my my voice. And the more you practice anything, I suppose, the better you get at it. But really just screaming in the band is pretty much something that comes kind of naturally to me. You know, I kind of got a big mouth, so... And I can't play guitar, bass, or drums, so I might as well be the singer, I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, on your last two albums, Sacrament and Ashes, you had Machine in the producing chair. What was the motive in reeling him back for the new album?
Well, we liked what we did with him last time, but our time constraints were a little bit tighter. Right. On this record, you know, we had more time. And I don't know. We had more time, and we when we first worked with him on Ashes, it kind of set up the parameters and an idea of what he could do with us. But we just didn't have enough time, and we kind of learned how to work with each other. And since we had more time this time, you know, we wanted to go ahead and explore and see how far we could take it, and we let him into the creative process a little bit more this time as well.
All right. Nice. Before Machine, you're working with the likes of Devin Townsend. Of course, he's a creative individual, a strapping young lad, and several other side projects. Is there any sort of amnesty between him and yourselves, Lamb of God, due to your persistent vision of what you like your sound to be like?
Was there any sort of what between us and Devin?
Like amnesty. Because he's quite a creative individual, I'm sure, with his own ideas, and so is Lamb of God, I suppose, would be too...
Well, I know that my band are a bunch of very stubborn dudes, playing, their instruments. They have very strict ideas of what they want to do and what they want it to sound like. And any producer who's going to work with us is going to have a hard time. We aren't the type of band that's going to be like, oh, you're the producer, you say do this, of course. Right. It's kind of like a long, drawn-out fight to work with us. It's got to kind of suck to be a producer for this band, I think, because everybody's so opinionated about what they should do. Devin had an interesting time with us. I think we kind of, my guys, particularly our drummer, worked him pretty hard, But we would certainly work with him again, if the offer presented itself.
Awesome. Now with, of course, keeping on the whole new albums thing, we've got, since Ashes, you've been with the new record label. Has that, I suppose, other than sort of sales and recording time or whatever, has that affected the band in any way, sort of recording or whatever?
No, not creatively.
Oh,
it has affected us no way at all in creatively. We made that very clear from the start when we began negotiations with Epic, that they weren't going to try and tell us or how to do anything or turn us into anything, and they haven't, because it just wouldn't work. We'd just walk away and they'd have to drop us. Being on Epic has allowed us to devote ourselves full time to being a band, though, and focus all of our energies instead of having to work part-time jobs and so forth, in order to pay the bills in between touring.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Sounds awesome. It's been said in the past that Lamb of God, or I should say Burn the Priest, was started because you wanted to make music that you liked to hear, which you couldn't get, which wasn't out there, I suppose. How do you think that's changed now? Is there music out there that you actually like to listen to these days?
Oh, yeah. I think the music scene's gotten a lot better than the time when we started. When Lamb of God started, when Burn the Priest started, there wasn't really that much going on, in metal. There are a few really strong holdouts, of course, Pantera, Slayer, and some of the really underground stuff was going on, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot of metal bands. Now it seems like there's just a ton of them cropping up everywhere, and music goes in cycles, so, metal seems pretty big right now, but who knows how long that'll last, Who knows what'll be big next, but that doesn't really matter to us. We'll just play it, as long as we can, and as long as we enjoy doing what we'll do, we'll be Lamb of God.
Awesome. How do you reckon Lamb of God has influenced other metal bands out there and metal as a whole, as a genre?
Well, I mean, it would be flattering to think that we had influenced any other bands, or, because we certainly have been influenced by bands. I think anybody in a band that denies that they have influences is just lying to themselves and others. I don't know if we've influenced anyone or metal in general, but if we have, it's flattering. It's not what we set out to do, but that's cool if we have, I guess.
Awesome. Now you've been doing a lot of tours lately, sort of Ozfest in 04 and Sounds of the Underground 05, and now the Unholy Alliance this year. You've been touring with a lot of bands all together. Is there any bands out there that you still want to tour with? You still reckon it'll be awesome to tour with them? Oh,
yeah. I'd love to tour with I Hate God. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, I've heard of them, yeah.
They're from Louisiana. They're my favorite band. Shoot. Good God, man. There's so many bands. I mean, that's the band that pops off the top of my head right now. I'd love to go out with those guys, If the original Sepultura got back together, I'd like to go on tour with them.
No, that would be an awesome tour.
Yeah.
Are there any of the bands that you have toured with? Are there any favourites that stick out?
The last tour we did the Unholy Alliance was the best tour I've ever done.
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of fun, man. It was just, I don't know, it was just overall the best tour that I've ever done, touring with Slayer, and I can't wait to pick it back up in Europe. We've always enjoyed touring with our friends God Forbid. They're from New Jersey, on Century Media. Touring with our friends in Shadows Fall is always a lot of fun. I've enjoyed touring with almost all the bands we've toured with. Everybody's been pretty cool over the years.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. What's one of the biggest factors that keeps Lamb of God going? Sort of the fuel in the Lamb of God engine, as well.
What now?
Well, what's one of the biggest factors that keeps Lamb of God going?
We just like making music, man. We're too old to do anything else, I suppose, now. I'm not going to start over and become a brain surgeon, that's for sure.
Fair enough. I've seen the DVDs and stuff like that, and your performance on stage is, I think, quite insane. How difficult is it to appear on stage each night, sort of night after night, to give 100% performance with, especially to Lamb of God's aggressive sound and the fans and all that?
It's hard sometimes, man. It really is. Because it's just, I don't know, you do it night after night after night after night, and there's some nights, man, you're just tired and you don't want to do it. You're just like, God, I just want to sit here and go to sleep or read a book or do something, You don't want to get up on stage and run around like a lunatic,
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, man, all these people paid good money to see us play, and it's my job. And I'm lucky enough to have a really cool job, so I'm going to try and do my best at it, and that's what I think about every night, when I go out on stage.
Awesome. Now, check out your tour schedule on the internet, and after Gigantour, you're playing a few gigs in Australia and Japan.
Yep.
Are you looking forward to playing Down Under for the very first time?
Fucking A. Yes, I am. I don't know if I can say that on the radio, but I just did.
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I totally am. It's really one of our goals as a band since we've been, started touring and then touring internationally is I always wanted to go to Japan and Australia. And I was really hoping to go to New Zealand this time. The land of the long white cloud, as the Maoris call it. But we aren't going to make it to New Zealand this time. Hopefully, we'll make it there next time. But I'm super excited to go to Australia, and the 3 shows we have there, apparently all 3 of them are sold out.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about being there for our first time.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm flying over to catch you in Melbourne, and I got my
right on.
I got my ticket weeks and weeks ago. So I heard that actually your Brisbane show sold out in like a day.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I quickly rushed in and got my ticket for the Melbourne one. That's actually going to be another question I was going to ask you. I've had a lot of people talking to me about plans for Lamb of God coming to New Zealand. If there's anything in the pipeline or rumours or anything like that.
I certainly hope so within the year. We're finishing up this year in Europe, and I'm sure we'll do a headlining run in the States starting in 2007, probably in January and February. And, we haven't hit South America at all, so I'm sure we'll hit that territory. And I'm sure we'll tour Europe more extensively, and Australia, Japan, and hopefully New Zealand. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be back within a year, and I would love to come to New Zealand. It's a gorgeous country from what I've seen pictures of, and I have friends that have been there, and they say it's just incredible.
Yeah, awesome. Well, if you want to see the scenery, just have a look at the Lord of the Rings movies. It's
yeah. I know they're filmed there. I'm also pretty interested in the Maori culture there.
All
right. All that it's all that moko, the face tattooing and all that cool stuff. It's kind of neat stuff. Most people over here don't really have any idea of what New Zealand is like unless, maybe they've watched a movie. Maybe they've seen that movie Once We're Warriors or something,
Yeah. Oh, a nice cross-section of the New Zealand culture.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the whole deal. So I want to go out and check it out myself. Go catch a kiwi bird.
Well, yeah, I just come off a trip from Europe and the States as well. And one thing I noticed that a lot of people call the fruit, which we call kiwi fruit, and the birds themselves are called kiwis, and people overseas seem to call them kiwis. It's just something that's sort of stuck out. So,
Yeah.
Sort of crazy. So because we call ourselves Kiwis, and Australians are Aussies, and
I know. I have a good friend who lives in Los Angeles. She's from New Zealand. She's a photographer. She's from New Zealand, and she calls herself my little Kiwi girl. So
it's just funny when people from America and Europe and stuff think that you're actually calling yourself a fruit, which I think is quite hilarious.
It's like, no, it's a bird.
Yeah, when you get drunk, it sort of gets a bit louder and more violent, I think. But those sort of things. But all right. Now, watching at your DVD there. Recently, you've decided to go sober, or not drink so much. And I understand to your bandmates this will be a turn for the better. But how are you finding it?
How? What now? What about being sober?
You've decided to go sober, sort of drink a little less, or whatever.
Yeah. Drinking a little less, meaning not drinking at all.
Yeah.
It sucks. I love drinking, but right now it's not the right time for me to drink because I get a little bit rambunctious and out of control, and I wind up doing something fucking stupid and wind up in jail or something, and I can't really afford that right now. So I've decided to take a little break. I don't know how long that's going to last, but right now I haven't had a drink for about 3 months. So It's going okay, though. It's good to let your liver rest a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Mine was getting ready to go on strike and jump out of my body, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Have you noticed any sort of impact, on your live performances?
Yeah, I don't throw up as much. There's not as much beer jostling around in my stomach. I have a little bit. I have some more energy. Sometimes it's better playing drunk. I think sometimes it's crazier. You get crazier when you're drunk.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's better sober. It's two different things. I can't really say whether I prefer one or the other. I know my band prefers it that I'm sober, but I don't really care what they prefer anyway.
With this new outlook on sobriety, do you reckon that the Lamb of God lifespan has increased at all, sort of without you sort of being burnt out from drinking or whatever?
Well, my personal lifespan has increased, so I guess that would mean the lifespan of the band has.
Nice. Cool. Now, on these DVDs, keep on going back to it. How important are the fans to the band?
They're really important to us. We try and maintain pretty close contact with our fans. We post on our message board a lot. Just drop in, and we meet them all the time. And the fans are very important to us. But what's most important to us is us. Making music that we like. We don't make music for press. We don't make music for fans. We make music for five dudes and Lamb of God because that's how we started it, and that's how it'll end. But yeah, our fans are really important to us, and I've met some really great people over the years through the band who are fans and have become really good friends with them. So sure, they're super important.
Nice. Now, being sort of one of the top bands in metal, there've got to be a few fanatical fans out there. And we've all seen the internet photos of the Lamb of God tattoos and stuff. But have you ever come across a fan that just make a step back and just say, "Oh, god damn," sort of?
Oh yes. Oh yes. There are those. Almost anyone in any band that has gained some recognition will tell you. There's some people that take it a little bit too far, and you're just like, whoa, dude, calm down. I'm just a person. I'm just a regular guy. I get up and take a crap just like you in the morning, you know. But, you know, those, if they weren't into us or music, they'd be fanatical about something else. You know, like maybe, you know, the Lord of the Rings movies or something. I don't know. You know, Star Trek or some shit, you know?
Right. What do you reckon your proudest sort of accomplishment with your time thus far with Lamb of God would be?
Oh, man. Staying alive the last 11 years. That would be it, man. Not croaking.
Yes. Is there any sort of musical ambition, sort of, like, I mean, when you get, it's kind of interesting to see sometimes in is it the Emmys or Grammys or something, the middle category where you sort of have, like I think last year Shadows Fall was up there, and you get the likes of Slipknot and Rammstein, and I suppose Mudvayne was up there as well. Is there any sort of ambition like that? Because I mean,
do what? I didn't quite understand your question. To do what?
To, I don't know, win awards or something.
No, I don't care. You know, I don't care about awards or, you know, reviews or whatever. I don't really care. And my awards come to myself when I make a record I'm proud of. You know, I don't really care about anything else.
Nice, awesome, good to hear. Have you been up to anything interesting during your downtime between these tours, sort of side projects or crazy random stuff?
Not. I have a side band called Halo of Locust that I've been trying to work on over the last couple of years. You know, we've done some. So we did a tour with a band called Byzantine, and we've done some demos and stuff. And hopefully within a year we'll put something out. But my schedule with Lamb of God is so busy right now. I haven't had time to really devote much to it.
Right, awesome. Yeah, no, we've heard of Byzantine. I actually enjoy them. They sound awesome. Okay, now with each DVD released and with the new album bonus disc, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes material, which, as a fan, it's awesome to sort of see. But how do you guys feel about the camera sort of invading your time on tour or recording? Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay, cool.
I hate it. I'm just a regular dude, and, you know, I mean, the guy who films us is a good friend of ours, of the band's, and, you know, he doesn't piss me off or anything, but I really hate it. I hate having a camera pointed at me all the time, you know, and people, they look at a DVD and they say, oh, this person must be like this or this person must be like that, because they watch an hour of footage that has been edited from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage, you know?
Yeah.
They don't show the boring stuff. They don't show you just sitting there like a normal guy reading a book or watching the telly or whatever. You know, they show whatever is going to be exciting to the viewer. So it's kind of weird. I don't really enjoy it because we are just regular dudes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, it's. I guess it's good for the fans to see, you know, what life or just, you know, whatever their musicians like, you know, what their life is. You know, it's pretty cool. It's part of my job, I suppose, to let this dude follow me around with a camera sometimes.
Yeah. Now we've got sort of just a couple of questions which kind of sort of traditional on the Hard Pass TV show, just sort of silly questions, but they sort of invite talk or discussion about other sort of random stuff. First one being, in your opinion, who would win a fight between a Lamb of God fan and an athlete, bearing in mind that the athlete would be incredibly fit and the fan would be into Lamb of God mosh pits?
Would be into Lamb of God mosh pits? Well, it depend on what type of athlete. You know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, if it was a tennis player, I think our guy would win. You know, but if it was, you know, some sort of kung fu dude. I don't know, but I mean, I know some fans that do like Ultimate Fighting, you know, all that kind of stuff, and I think they would pretty much beat down most athletes. So it's all good. We have some pretty rowdy, burly fans.
Yeah. Now, you've shared the stage with many bands over the years, through Ozfest, Sounds Underground, and Unholy Alliance. Is there anyone out there that you have a man crush on?
A man crush on?
Man crush, yeah.
Absolutely not. Dudes are sweaty, and dudes do not have breasts and vaginas. Breasts and vaginas are my main criteria for sexual attraction. Dudes inherently do not have those, so therefore there are no man crushes. Except for myself. I have a crush on myself, because no one can love me the way that I love myself.
That's awesome.